Testing, test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Tai, tai, tai. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tai, tai, tai. Tai, tai, tai. 1, 2, 3. Tai, tai, tai. 1, 2, 3.
Yo. Yes. Oh, bravo! Let's get a warm applause to our speaker, Eva Wu. Oh, no, it's just a rehearsal. Don't worry.
How?
Don't worry.
Hi. Please feel free to sit down. We were going to have a session now. And then... okay. Good morning, distinguished guests. Welcome to the Staff Pavilion at COP30. I'm today's one of the guests. My name is Eva.
And my name is Chen Yanchang.
Today the session is titled Turning Climate Risk into Green Opportunities, Unveiling New Features of Climate and Capital Change. So in the first part, I will introduce the climate-related risk and opportunities under the climate change situation. And then in the second part, we are honored to invite the former Secretary General Assistant of UNEP, who is Satya Tripathi, to introduce how capital can change the climate. And for the third part, my partner Yan will introduce the hidden price of green transition, focusing more on the risk on the national level and how does the technology lock-in affects countries. Okay?
Okay, so let's have... Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big applause to the first speaker, Eva Wu, to give the speech, a short introduction about the topic, when climate meets finance.
Okay, so my name is Eva, and I'm honored to introduce when climate meets finance and some of the climate-related risks and opportunities under climate change. And this is the introduction of myself. My name is Eva, and I'm currently a senior sustainability consultant at PwC. So my work basically spans from reducing the carbon emissions and ecological impacts of the companies. And we also do especially TCFD and TNFD, which is the climate-related financial disclosures and nature-related financial disclosures. So that's why today the topics is about climate-related risk and opportunities. So this is the overview of the session today. It is divided into 3 parts. The first part, we will start with an interactive glove puppetry vignette. The show illustrates how climate-related physical and transitional risks, as well as opportunities, will impact businesses. And then the other important part of the session is the decision-making. So later, in between different vignettes, there will be a decision-making parts for each of you to decide what should the main characters, Eva, do under this kind of circumstances. And also, in between the different parts, I will introduce the trends and insights, including how does the company in Taiwan deal with these climate-related risks and opportunities. So to visualize what we're going to happen later, each of you will have 10 coins in total. And then some of you will make decisions that affects the money, whether you will lose money or gain money. Now, let's move on to the glove puppetry. Imagine this. You are the owner of a small factory located in the rural areas. Your business survives by selling B2B products to other clients. You have limited resources, and every decision you make could affect your financial stability and long-term survival. Throughout the story, Eva, the main characters, will face challenges related to climate risks, both physical and transitional, and you will need to decide how to respond. Okay. Hiya! First the heat wave, then the drought, now a flood. This is impossible.
Boss, sorry I'm late. The main road is a river. I had to work the high path over the hill. It took 2 hours just to arrive at the factory.
Lois, just look at this mess. The record-breaking rain, they call it, right after the scorching sun heat wave. What a nightmare.
Don't remind me of the heat. Boss, last month, it was too hot to even think. It was 39 degrees inside the factory. The fans just blew hot air.
I know. It was so hot that I couldn't bear standing outdoors for even a minute.
And also, our work efficiency was terrible. Everyone was dizzy, moving slow. We had to stop every 30 minutes. We were already behind schedule.
And the drought. I spent all of my cash buying water just to cool down the processors. My limited resources gone.
It was scorching hot, then bone dry, and now the typhoon, it just wiped everything out. The whole ground floor is ruined, boss.
It's worse than that. The flood triggered a landslide on the main road. Our supply chain is cut off. The steel shipment is stuck on the other side.
No, still? But what about the big order for the auto company? We were supposed to ship tomorrow.
They have been calling all morning. The entire production line is stopped, waiting for our small components. My most stable clients, they are furious. What's worse, now the flood ruins the inventory and damages the machines. The bank still wants its payment. I couldn't pay it. This climate change, it's making my money less.
Boss, if the factory shut down, well, I still get paid.
Thank you. This is just the first vignette. Later, we'll still have the other two one. And then, next page, please. Next page. And in the show, we want to elaborate that there will be many natural disasters happening under climate change. For example, we mentioned there is a drought, there is typhoons, and also heat waves. So we want to highlight the importance of physical risks. So here are some of the examples of physical risks, including the severity of extreme weather, such as cyclones, floods, or typhoon. And also, there will be a rising mean temperatures under climate change. This kind of physical risks will affect people's health and also affects our financial stabilities. For example, Eva in the vignette mentioned that she is going to pay a lot of money in order to buy a new equipment. And also, the supply chain is cut off so that she cannot deliver the products on time. So these kind of physical risks might affect financial impacts, such as the decrease of production capacity, and it also cause negative impacts on the workforce. For example, Lois is concerned that her salary won't get paid because of this kind of natural disaster. And also, it increases our operating costs and capital costs because we have to buy new equipment. And here is a real examples of how natural disaster affects the business. In September, a severe typhoon hit Hualien, which is a county in Taiwan, causing the barrier lake to overflow and flood the whole township, resulting in 15 casualties. The owner of the rice mill in the area recalled that flood water rushed within 2 minutes, leaving no time to save any equipment. And this natural disaster cost about $650 USD in order to recover. So this is the cases that how natural disasters might affect the business and causing severe losses for the business owner. Okay, so the story we just discussed highlights the disaster caused by extreme weather events. So you might wonder, how can we assess this kind of physical risk before the tragedy occurs? So here are some examples. Here are some examples that the companies do to assess the physical risk. For example, they use the aqueduct indicators established by the WRI World Resource Index to conduct water risk and drought risk analysis. By using these tools, the companies can know that which sites has a higher risks of physical risk, so that they can prevent it in advance of the disaster happen. So now I have a quick question for you, which is there any idea for the countermeasures for these physical risks? If the companies want to reduce the risk happens from the natural disaster, what can they do? Hi. Inventory, you mean carbon inventory or? Get more.
Yeah, you can cope with this kind of disaster.
Ah, okay. So, for example, like buying more equipment that will prevent the disaster from happening. Thank you. And is there any other advice?
Maybe they can subscribe some weather service, like early warning or the like typhoon event or like heavy rain. Like they can subscribe some early warning alarm system, so they can get notified before the disaster hit.
Thank you. That is a very good advice. So establishing an early warning system so that in case a disaster happens, they know how to cope with that. And also, I think education is important to educate on the employees on how to if this kind of events happen, what is the SOP for this kind of tragedy. And I will also add on how some companies in Formosa has been doing in order to adapt to these kind of physical risks. For example, TSMC, they did a monitoring and emergency response system similar to what Yen just mentioned. And they also supplemented with regular drills. So the employees are very used to this kind of drills, so that if the actual accidents really happen, they know how to cope with that. And also, another companies, what they did for drought risk adaptation is to increase the wastewater treatment and recycling, so that they can reduce the dependency on the water. They can have their own recycling system and lower the usage of the water. And then they also ensure adequate response capabilities, just like what we mentioned. It's important for the employees to have their own knowledge and abilities to cope with this kind of disaster. And other than water risk and drought, I think we also mentioned the rising temperatures under climate change. So here is a good case that I think we can learn from. So it's a cool map developed as interactive platforms, which can highlight some of the cooling places. For example, from the pictures, you can tell that there are some shaded zones, there are many trees over there. So when people staying there, they will feel cool. And then they also highlight some water stations where people can refill their water, and also some air-conditioned public spaces. So this is a map that is very useful for people who want to stay in a cool place under this very hot weather. And at the end of the first session, I would like to ask everyone that after the vignette, after the puppet show, what do you think EVA should do under this kind of circumstances? Option A is to restore the operations as before. Just try to recover from the floods. And then option B is to restore operations at the same location, but invest in flood prevention measures, just as what our Jennifer mentioned, to maybe buy some equipment that will help prevent the disasters. And for the option C, it's to relocate to a low-risk area. Number C? Option C. Okay, is there any other choice? No, option 2. Can you share why would you choose option B?
Because you don't resolve the problem if you change the place of the if you only change the locale of the fabric, you don't resolve the problem. So you need to resolve the problem, and you need to have other actions to finish the problem in general.
Prevent the problem from happening. Okay, so can Jennifer also share why would you choose option C?
Yeah, if I am a big company, then I have lots of resources. So I think it's a better option for me to relocate the low flood risk area. But if I am a small and a medium company, so I have less money to invest, so maybe I will choose option B. So I think the size of the company is very important for my decision.
I think that the better decision is C. But, in fact, sometimes it's impossible to relocate the people in another area. So, depends the location, the money for the relocation of the people in another place. B and C is the better decision.
Thank you so much for the sharing and very fruitful discussion. So let me. So indeed, I think option A might not be the best option because when the next typhoon hits, the factory will still suffer the same severe damage again. So we mentioned that we have 10 coins, right? So I don't think anyone would choose option A. And for the option B and C, just as the gentleman mentioned, I think they are the better options compared to option A. And then it very depends on the resources and the money that company has. They can choose the options that is better for their decision making. So I think for option B, it is very good that I think it's a very good way to prevent the disaster from happening again because they already have the prevention measures. So if typhoon hits, they know how to prevent it. And then relocating to a low flood risk area, it is somehow a more fundamental way to solve this problem because there will be less floods happening in the future. However, just as the gentleman and Jennifer mentioned, it depends on the money that the companies has. It costs a bigger investment because sometimes the land that is more low flood risk might cost more because it's safer, so it's more expensive. And also, if we have to relocate the whole factory, it definitely costs a lot more. So it depends on the resources that companies has. They can choose maybe option B or option C. But definitely not option A. So everyone has been doing a great job. Thank you. And now it comes to the second vignette, which is another problems coming for EVA's factory. It has been a year since the flood. The factory is running, but I'm drowned in paperwork. A report for this, a fee for that. Impossible, just impossible.
Boss, I've got a mail from the steel supplier.
Don't tell me they raised the price again?
Another 10%. Starting next month, they say their energy costs are up, and also with carbon tax being charged, they have to increase the price.
That is not even my biggest problem today, Lois. Look at this.
No? What is this? A new order?
No, a new rule from our biggest clients in Europe. It's called CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism.
What? C-band? What's that?
Since we are selling products to Europe, we have to measure our carbon footprint, and a certain price has to be paid for the embedded carbon emissions generated from our goods.
Oh my God! It is OMG. Sorry, it is because companies based in the EU now move their carbon-intensive production abroad to countries that have less strengthened climate policy than in the EU, so they are implementing such policies?
Yes. Unless we reduce carbon emissions, we can pay less under CBAM. And that is not all. Our biggest customer just joined RE100, which is Renewable Energy 100. They want us to run on 100% renewable energy. If we don't do that, we lose the contract.
Renewable energy both. That means new equipment, new power deals. That's millions.
Exactly. More capital spending, more operating costs. Carbon tax, CBAM, renewable compliance. It's all piling up. I've run the numbers all night. If we don't act fast, this will wipe up our profits.
So steel costs more, carbon fees on exports, and now we have to buy green power? Both will be making part of for free.
I know. We need a plan, which is a fast plan, or we won't survive this transition. Okay, so the second scene of this puppet show highlights the risk of transition risk. We can learn that there are CBAM, which is a carbon mechanism raised by EU in order to reduce the carbon footprints from the products outside of EU. So here are some examples of transition risks. It's a little bit hard, but we will highlight some of the risks that we highlight in the puppet show. So for example, we mentioned that the GHG emissions, the carbon footprints obligations have been rising, so that the companies have to try to reduce their carbon emissions. And if they don't do so, it increases the operating costs. For example, they have to pay carbon tax, carbon fee to the government or to other kind of other countries. And also, they will face some technology-related transitional risks. For example, they have to substitute the existing products and services with lower emissions options so that they can pay less fee. And also, we can tell that the consumers' behavior are shifting as well. So the companies the clients want more low carbon emissions products, so that EVA's factory has to try to reduce their carbon emissions. If they don't do so, they might lose the contract from the company, from the clients as well. So here are some of the GHG emissions emissions trading systems happening around the world right now. There are about 38 ETS enforced worldwide, and there are 11 additional ETS under development as well. So we can tell that the blue region are the countries that has ETS enforced, and the green one are still under development. We can tell that a lot of countries has started to have this kind of mechanism to reduce the carbon emissions. And then also we mentioned that the material cost has been rising. So here are also some of the examples that happenings around the world. For example, the cost of cocoa has been rising because West Africa is a main areas where they grow cocoa. However, they face the problems of heat waves, and then it shows that after years, the price has been keep rising. And also another studies from Greenpeace highlight that after severe disasters, natural disasters, the price of the groceries will also increase. So you can tell that the price increase a lot compared to the previous period if the disasters happen. So here are the questions that I want to ask the audience again. Like if you were Eva, what would you do under this transitional risks? You can option A, cut the cost so that you can save the cost. And then option B is to replace equipment with more energy efficient ones so that you can reduce carbon emissions. And then option C is to adopt circular materials. Is there anyone who wants to volunteer?
Yeah, I will adopt option C to use more circular material. Yeah, and I think there is another option. Maybe I will try to export to somewhere else, not to Europe countries.
Because they have less regulation.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that is an interesting point. Although I think a lot of countries will struggle to have stricter regulations at EU in the future. Yeah.
I think I will choose the C option, and I want to share an example in my I know that it's China steel. Like everybody already know that the manufacturing process of steel is burning coal to make iron oil to steel. But but sometimes when Europe is applying CBAM, more and more steel companies going to adapting hydrogen to make steel. It's then green steel. It has higher price and better quality. So it can be it's not only adapting circular material, it also increasing the benefits and the profits from the company's perspective. Yeah.
Thank you, Yan, for sharing. Next slide, please. So it's good that nobody chose option A because it's just a short-term relief from the reducing expense, but it's not a long-term strategies. And then for option B and option C, from my point of view, I think they are all good, but it's different in the supply chain. So replacing equipment with more energy efficient ones, I think is the priority that the companies can do because it's a change that can do within their own operation. But for the adopting circular materials, it's for the supply chain. So after the companies reduce emissions in their own operations, they can also try to negotiate with their suppliers whether they can adopt circular materials more so that they will increase the impact to the supply chains, which cause the less carbon emissions from Scope 3, which is also very important. And now let's move on to the final scene, final puppet show.
Boss, you've been quiet all morning. Did we get into another trouble?
No, I've been researching our competitor, General Parts.
General Parts? What are they up to?
Look, they just signed a massive partnership with that big German electronics company, the one we have been chasing for a year.
What? How? Their parts aren't better than ours.
But their story is, they retour their factories, they are using 100% circular materials and renewable energy, and the clients love it.
Boss, it's already hard enough to survive now. If we invest in recycled material, renewable energy, and so on, it will increase tremendous cost.
This isn't just about survival anymore. Transition isn't just a burden, it's a getaway. A getaway to new markets, new partnerships, and stronger brands. That's what I missed. I was so focused on the cost of compliance that I didn't see the opportunity.
I see. The world is changing, and we have to change with it. Just like General Parts saw the signal and move first. So, what do we do now, boss?
We have to adapt to climate-related physical risks, transit to low-carbon production, and most importantly, starting to seize climate opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah. then for this scene, we want to highlight the importance of seizing the climate opportunities. So we can tell that there is another competitors which has won the very important deals from EVA's factories original clients. So we know that seizing the opportunities is very important. And here are some of the examples how companies can seize the climate opportunities. For example, they can try to use a resource efficiently, like using recycled materials or having a more efficient modes for transport, which can lead to the increase of production capacity. And then they can also try to change the energy source to a lower emission source of energy, which can reduce their carbon footprints. And then the companies can also access to new markets after the transitions, so that it increases the revenues through access to new and emerging markets. So here are the surveys made from PwC that highlights that consumers are willing to pay 9.7 more for sustainable products, especially the products that has recycling and reuse raw materials, or they has eco-friendly packaging, or the products itself support the biodiversity and water resource protections. So it shows that if the companies can switch their products to a more sustainable one, it can also the consumers are willing to buy it as well. And here are the here are the cases that I really like is how the companies can seize the climate opportunities. So Allright is a beauty goods beauty goods brand, and the Family Mart is a convenience store. So Family Marts, they make coffee for the consumers, right? So they will have the coffee beans and coffee grounds made during the production of the coffee. And then after the coffee grounds was collected by Allright, the beauty goods companies, they make the coffee grounds into a natural coffee extract oil, which can put into the beauty care products. And as for the milk, which is used during making coffee, the milk bottle can be recycled, and then they can make into a bottle which is for the beauty care products. So the beauty care products itself, the oils comes from the coffee grounds, and the bottle comes from the milk bottle. This is a very good cooperation between the producers and the service providers. So for the third puppet shows, I also have some questions for the audience, which is what kind of measures EVA should choose under these scenarios. Option A is to launch a low carbon or circular products, and option B is to participate in carbon markets. Option C is do nothing. Also, due to the time constraint, maybe I will just move on to the next slides. So I think option A and option B are all good implementations that the companies can do, because if they launch the low carbon and circular products, although the initial investment might be high, however, they can also attract eco-conscious consumers and gain new market share. And option B is to participate in carbon markets. By joining carbon markets, it helps offset the company's emissions. And also it can meet clients' requirements and unlock incentives. So these are all good strategies for the companies who wants to seize the climate-related opportunities. So I think this is the final page of my presentation. Through the introduction of the puppet show, we want to highlight the climate-related risks and opportunities. So from the first scene, we know that there are physical risks happening, for example, floods or rising temperatures. And from the second scene, we notice that the transitional risks will also affect the business. For example, CBAM or carbon fee will increase the company's costs if they don't make the transition to a low carbon production. And then for the third scene, we highlight the importance of climate opportunities. So these kind of risks and opportunities are all impacting the company's risk management. It is important to mitigate the risk and seize the opportunities in order to reduce the negative financial impact and increase the positive financial impacts. So these climate issues, they are not just about environmental issues. For the companies or individuals, it will actually affect their financial stabilities. So it's important for us to try to mitigate climate change. And this is the last page. I want to summarize the presentation into 3 points. Number one is that organizations and individuals need to assess the financial impact of climate-related risks and opportunities so that they know where the risks are and how to create the opportunities. And then it's important to implement adaptive measures to mitigate risk and creating new opportunities. So after assessment, it's important to think about the strategies, what they can do. And then it's the final one, I think is the most important, to set ambitious targets to continuously manage these risks and opportunities. If they don't set their goals, then it's impossible for them to actually achieve it. So save our planet and protect your wallet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eva, for your inspiring sharing. And from Eva's sharing, we can know that the climate change not only bring us the risk, like the reality risk, like fraud or heat, high temperature, or even drought. But also, it also bring us the opportunity to improve our quality of products, or even the access of new markets. So, climate change is not just a risk to us. It not only relates to each individual, and also cooperate, and also to the whole society. And currently, because our keynote speaker, Mr. Tripathi is currently is on the Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we will go to the QA first. For this first part, is there any questions that you guys want to raise or interact with us? No question.
No question.
Then thank you for participating in the session. Now we have a clip to show you, which is actually very interesting because where we come from was named after Portuguese as Formosa, as a beautiful island. So we would like to share with you a short clip regarding of the introduction of our hometown, Formosa. Me play? Thank you.
婆娑之洋，美丽之岛。海岸是陆地与海洋的交界，也是充满勇气的人们逐梦之旅的端点。齐柏林在25年的空拍生涯中，曾经感叹，有许多美不胜收的自然景观，但伴随着美丽而来的，往往都是惨不忍睹的伤痕印记。海岸每一分每一秒都在面临挑战。看见海岸，看见家园的轮廓，这是我们的家。婆娑之洋，美丽之岛。海岸是陆地与海洋的交界，也是充满勇气的人们逐梦之旅的端点。齐柏林在25年的空拍生涯中，曾经感叹，有许多美不胜收的自然景观，但伴随着美丽而来的，往往都是惨不忍睹的伤痕印记。 岸每一分每一秒都在面临挑战。看见海岸，看见家园的轮廓，这是我们的家。婆娑之洋，美丽之岛。海岸是陆地与海洋的交界，也是充满勇气的人们逐梦之旅的端点。齐柏林在25年的空拍生涯中，曾经感叹，有许多美不胜收的自然景观。但伴随着美丽而来的，往往都是惨不忍睹的伤痕印记。海岸每一分每一秒都在面临挑战。看见海岸，看见家园的轮廓，这是我们的家。婆娑之洋，美丽之岛。海岸是陆地与海洋的交界，也是充满勇气的人们逐梦之旅的端点。
Okay, so let's move back to our floor. Because our keynote speaker currently is on the road now, so on his way to our venue, and so we decide to move forward to the second speaker. It's me to elaborate more about the risk brought from climate change, and the topic is the hidden price of green transition, a modern parade. It means that because the previous presentation, Eva just showed us about the opportunity, the risk, and the opportunity brought from climate change. So everyone is seeking for opportunity to the modern, to the green, to the new opportunity in green transition society now. But when we look into, when we unmask the power and the money and the cash flow behind the green transition opportunity, we will find that there are hidden price behind the green transition. So let's move on to the next slide. It's a short introduction of myself. I am Chen Chang, and I am a policy analyst working focusing at energy security and climate resilience in the think tank named DSAT. And the DSAT is based in Taipei. And currently my work is to analyze the green opportunity and also the hidden risk behind this kind of green investment, and also like how we can the hidden price behind this proposal. Also, the next slide. Currently, we are at the green zone of COP30, and we are all here at COP30 to find a solution to coping with climate change. But have we ever considered the hidden price of the tech behind the proposal of each country? And today we are going to use the puppet show to tell an Asian tale, generally to the West. It means 西游记 Mandarin, to unveil the modern fable of money, power, and ambition in our global green transition. And this story will be elaborated in our puppet show. And I forgot to tell you that one of my job is puppet operator. Just kidding. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. And so the story will begin like once upon a time.
Hot. It's too hot. My beautiful flower. My beautiful flower fruit mountain has become a flaming mountain. The trees are dead. The rivers are dry. I think I won't survive another summer.
Oh, don't worry, little brother. I'm here with the best climate solution.
Big brother, you have the bamboo fan. Awesome. Quick, fan away this heat. Save me.
Oh, not so fast. This season's for free, Monkey King. It cost me a lot to have this fan's technology. So, I'm not going to give you my friend for free, obviously. Instead, I want to propose to you.
Really? You save us?
Of course! It's a perfect win-win transaction you have ever heard. The nickel stone in your hometown, they are on less rock to you. But they are critical to my green technology. So I want to build an industry park in your country. That I can get the essential material to make the fan. And once the industry park is built, your people will be hired to help me mining. And then I will buy them all.
That sounds a little bit difficult to me. Big brother, could you teach us how to make the fan?
Oh, brother, you overcomplicate things. This technology took me centuries to develop. Why waste your little monkey brains? You just dig a rock and leave the high-tech stuff to me. It's efficient. Trust me, I have got your cover.
Okay, so on our story, you can tell that the monkey. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. You can find that Monkey King is currently encounter a risk caused by climate change. That climate change bring the heat wave in his hometown, so his hometown is on fire. And then there's another country named Red Boy. Red Boy had a big fan, and Red Boy wants to make a deal with Monkey King that they can exchange the fan with the cobblestone, a critical mineral in Monkey King's hometown. Like, should Monkey King accept the deal from the big brother, the red boy? Like, there's two options in the story. Like, one is sure, like Monkey King should accept the deal from the red boy because Monkey King cannot miss this trend. This trend is too rare that his hometown is currently on fire. So if he don't take action, his hometown will be the temperature of his hometown will be increasing. But another option will be hold on, wait a moment, because Monkey King should think twice. Maybe there are some risks behind the red boy proposal. What do you think? Do you think if you were the Monkey King, will you accept the deal from the red boy? I want to ask the audience here, like, if you were Monkey King, will you accept the deal from the red boy? Can you move to the 2 page before, like, previous. Yeah, this is the deal from the red boy. That the red boy will exchange the offer, like the bamboo fan. What can sweep the heat away? But he wants the nickel stone from the Monkey King in exchange. Like, will you accept the deal? Will you accept the deal? Okay. I will accept the deal. I want to. If you were Monkey King, you will accept the deal. Please raise your hand. Okay, two of them two of my attendee want to accept the deal. If anyone don't want to hold the Monkey King on to sting twice, please raise your hand. Okay, nobody want to chase. Nobody want to sting twice. Okay, next slide, please. In our story, like the Monkey King has the opportunity and had time to think for a while. He also had opportunity to consult all of you for your stuff. But in the reality, the leader of developing country, especially the small mountain country, they don't even have a chance. This reflects a reality of many climate vulnerable nations. There are several limitations they face. The first one is the urgent in time. Because the time left for them is not enough to consider or to elaborate or survey much about the proposal. They don't know the influence, like the positive influence and the negative influence of the proposal. And then the other one is like this kind of developing country, they don't have enough bargaining chip to the developed country, so they are currently facing immediate and essential threat to brought from climate change, and they don't have time or chance to negotiate with the developed country. And like imagine you are the passenger on Titanic. When your boat is sinking, you don't even have the time to negotiate the fine print of the lifeboat. If you once you got chance, you can jump on them, and this is currently the result that the Monkey King face. That because he's in the highly disadvantaged negotiate position. So in this, when he facing this kind of dilemma, he had no choice but accept it. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's get back to the story of Monkey King and our story. Monkey King's hometown is burning, so Monkey King signed the contract with the Red Boy. So the Red Boy agreed to build the industrial park in his hometown, and then provide Monkey King provide the exclusive import right of nickel stone of his hometown to let the Red Boy provide bamboo fan in change. Okay, so here is the second scene of our show.
Wait. Okay. Monkey King, I think the Red Boy was cheating you. Everything is getting worse, and it's not what the Red Boy promised us before. I got some bad things to report to you.
What? You said the Red Boy is lying to me? Show me the evidence.
First, more and more forests are destroyed because the Red Boy is cutting trees for his industrial plants. Second, the people working in the industrial park, they are exhausted. They are asked to work day and night to collect the stone in terrible conditions.
I knew. Deforestation and bad labor conditions. It's just a transition. Once we learn more about the technology, we can make our own fan as well. So, don't worry.
No, Monkey King, you are wrong. Let me show you the photo. See? It's the industrial park the Red Boy built. The Red Boy built and operates the whole industrial park and the refinery plant in the park. They are everything. Our stones are completely useless unless we put them into the plant. However, only the Red Boy knows how to keep the refinery plant working, and the red boy doesn't allow anyone to approach his plant.
Do you mean that we will never know how to make it by ourselves?
Yes, and we have to rely on the red boy to keep the refinery working.
Sounds like it's really bad to me. No wonder the red boy is getting rude recently and start to ask me follow his instruction. Like last time, we are all invited to go to COP30 to vote. The red boy asked me not to recognize an island as a sovereign country.
Okay, let's on the show previously, we can show that once the Monkey King accepts the deal from the Red Boy, and once the industrial park is built, Monkey King is under control of the Red Boy because of the conceptual term of technology lock-in. The technology lock-in is in conceptual term. Technology lock-in is meaning that developing country gets the hardware of the industrial part, the technology or the product, but they don't have the know-how or the knowledge of fixing it or maintain it, and it will cause a severe, very bad outcome. That because they will lead to the scenario that they will the developing country will highly rely on developed country that they had to rely on their technology and their maintenance capacity, and even they will ask to be doing some diplomatic disclosure or position in the international conference. And let's show you. Let me elaborate it by the case in the real world. And this photo shows the INIP Morowali Industrial Park in Indonesia. And this industrial park is currently mining on the very critical stone named nickel. And this industrial park is a massive joint investment between China and Indonesia firm. It's also the world's largest nickel-based industrial area, and it's central to our global green transition. Which means because nickel is the key ingredient for the EV batteries, and also like the battery with a higher energy density, and so which means that nickel is really fundamental to our green transition. And next slide, please. In fact, Indonesia currently is supplied more than 50% of the nickel in the world market. So which means that currently our green transition is highly relies on the nickel produced from Indonesia and the industrial part in like the Porto INIP. Next slide, please. But when you look inside to the technical detail into it, you will find something weird. Like you can see that on your left hand side, which is the reverse of nickel. You can see that the Indonesia is only can cover about 22% of the reverse of nickel, which is not very much. It's just a little part. But when we survey into the total worldwide production of nickel by country, you can find out that Indonesia currently has already produced about half of the nickel production in the world. And what happened to a single country will bring what happened? What did it happen? Like how did one country will take over the market so quickly? And it happened not only because of Indonesia itself. It had already related to the massive and very international industrial bed. And it's not just Indonesia bed. First, this slide. I think this is the most important slide in my presentation. That this figure shows look like just a perfect and modern supply chain. It started from the Indonesian mining, which are like the nickel ore as directly fit into the processing fab, and which is joint venture with the Chinese company named CATL, 宁德时代 in Mandarin, and currently, you can find that the problem of the problem of this supply chain is like majority of the production of nickel mining from Indonesia company is highly relies on the several or like few international cooperate from China, South Korea, and Europe. And currently, you can find that the fact is that currently the raw green transition is fueled by extracting resources from Indonesia, while that the local environment pay the price in Indonesia local. But currently, like as I showed on the slides, like even though Indonesia's mining industry is quite developed, the domination doesn't benefit the local people in Indonesia, and even though revenues or the profits of the industry doesn't lead to Indonesia itself as well. Like it's because that Indonesia is currently feeding a tax holiday, which means that Indonesia wants to attract more and more foreign investment from China or from South Korea or from the world. So they are not testing. They are not testing to any of the any of event international cooperation in the industrial part, which means that currently the topic will be the massive profitable operation is free from paying the profit tax, and it leads to a very important, very serious resilient in action. And next slide, please. Okay, so now come to the third slide, third performance of our perfect show.
Big brother, this isn't partnership, it's control. I monopoly all the technology and downstream of the supply chain. We demand technology transfer. We need to know how to build our own fence.
Tech transfer, Monkey King, don't be so naive. Without our supply chain, you are nothing, nothing, nothing. This is the real war. Oh, 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 oh.
Okay, so the last thing is finished. Like you can see the final stage of the Monkey King. Monkey King currently is trapped by the red boy because of the technology lock-in. And the next slide, please. This story, next slide. Okay, the story highlights the critical element on the pathway forward to the real climate resilience. The great test of the journalist of what we just showed that is because of when someone is offering a perfect proposal with green future, we have to look inside it. It is really offering a perfect solution, or it's just something hidden price behind it. So we are proposing four critical element in our real climate resilient pathway. The first one is the very important one is technical transfer. The technical transfer is the lesson that Monkey King know just from the beginning of the story. The Monkey King asked the red boy to teach us how to build the fan, and not only just sell us the fans. A true business partner is not just share the know-how, not just the hardware. And the second one, we must diversify our partnership. A wise nation, we will rely on more and more partner or like-minded countries to collaborate together. They don't buy all the fans from a single stores. And the third one is supervision system or well-designed cash flow system, which means that the transparency will find a good governance and auditing system to prevent the hidden corruption or exploitation. And the fourth one, I think, is the most important is local empowerment. Like the solution is not only from the outside, it also can be bring from the next side in the civil society and from the local. Like don't ask the monkey, not just the red boy. Maybe the monkey will have its own solution and will be solve the crisis themselves. Okay, the next slide. Okay, and I think I will finish my slide here. And let's move swift. Let's give our floor to the keynote speaker, the Trevor. Toilet. Oh, one more time. Okay. Oh, one more minute. Okay. So okay, let's wait for it for a while. Like, let me introduce our keynote speaker in a very short time. Like, Mr. Tripathi is the former Secretary General of the Global Alliance of the Sustainable Planet United States Environmental Program. He also works as Chancellor of Kaliningrad Institute of Social Science, Bananswa, the world's largest academic institution dedicates inclusively to indigenous people and culture. He also serves as the global steering group of the Global Atlantic Finance Initiative, a jury of Paris Peace Forum, and is also a trustee at Water Unite. Beyond these titles, Mr. Tripathi is a development economic, a lawyer, and a trend maker with over 40 years of various environments. It has served with the United Nations for more than 2 decades in key positions across the planet, and was most recently the UN Assistant Secretary General, head of New York office at UN Environment, and Secretary of the Management Group. And I want to share with that the special experience of Mr. Tripathi. He was instrumental in establishing the Tropical Landscape Financial Facility (TLFF) in Indonesia in 2016, and the Sustainable India Finance Facility (SIFF) in 2014 to leverage private finance for public growth at a mega scale to achieve for transformative social and environmental impact for millions of people in developing countries. So I need to read more about it. And as an analyst of a London School of Economics and Political Science, Mr. Tripathi had published widely on conservation and green economy transition, sustainable development, and climate change negotiation and adaptation. Yeah, so may we have a big applause. May I invite everyone here to offer a warm applause as we welcome our speaker, Mr. Tripathi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So should I stand up or go up? Yeah, why not? That's okay. Thank you. So, who's coming from where? Everybody traveling from different parts of the world? Wonderful. So why are we here? You know, when you travel to these places, it's always a good thing to ask yourself, why am I traveling? You know, why am I even here? You know, the same question that we should ask as human beings, what's the purpose of life? You know, if you follow, no matter which religion you follow, in philosophically, the people in the Amazon that have been protecting the best forest in the world, they protect it because they don't see themselves as separate from the forest. They see themselves as a part of the forest. That is a big problem with human beings. We see ourselves separate from nature. And then we say, oh, I should protect nature. Or I should do something good for nature. No, you don't need to do anything good for nature. You're a tiny part of nature. You know, all this big room, there are maybe 30, 40,000 people inside, or 20,000. And we are all different, we look different, we are dressed different. But we are breathing the same air. The air you are breathing has gone through his body, then hers, and then Jack, and then you, and then I'm breathing it. That's a fact, right? We're all breathing the same air. But it's not like the air is separately for us and we are breathing it. Same with water. The water we drink has gone through the body of every snake, every human being, every elephant, every tiger. That's how life works, right? It's not created separately for us. Okay, you know, Tina will have a separate water and Gina will have separate water. It doesn't work like that. So nature is one. And we are a small part of it. The moment we realize that, we will do better things. Otherwise, we see ourselves as something very special, which we are not. And then we say, okay, you know, maybe I should help nature. And some people are so arrogant, they say, oh, we need to help the planet. The planet doesn't need our help. Before the humans arrived, the planet has been there for millions of years. And it will be there after we are gone. So the question is not if we should save the planet or help Mother Nature. The question is whether we should help ourselves so that we have clean water to drink, we have clean air to breathe, we have clean food to eat, so that we can nourish ourselves and do something good while we are here. Okay? Now, if you think like that, then you stop thinking about yourself. You think about the community. And the community not just of humans, of the ecosystem, of the land, of the water, of the air, of the mountains, of the river, everything. And the moment you think like that, you think, okay, can I do something about it to help my own home? So we did something in Indonesia. You know, you want to hear about how capital can help? There was a big forest called Bukit Tigapulu. It was being destroyed every day. And 50,000 people were destroying it. They lived in the forest, they lived around the forest, and somebody will come and give them money. Hey, can you cut some trees for me? And they cut it, not knowing that they are cutting their own feet. And then somebody will come, bring big trucks, take away those trees. And that's how slowly, the forest is gone, you know. And the forest is 6 times the size of the country Singapore. That big the forest. So we sat down with people, we started talking to them and said, what do you want? Why are you cutting down your own home, you know? Oh, they said, we have to feed our children like yourselves. Parents are very worried about their children, you know? They have to look after their children. That's how humans work. So nobody said, I want to get rich. Nobody said, I want more money in my bank account. Everybody was saying, I need enough to feed my children so that I can look after their health. I can send them to school so that they become better human beings. So we sat down with everybody and then we worked with a company called Michelin. It's a big tire company. then a big bank, at that time the biggest bank in Europe called BNP Paribas. So we brought everybody together into a room and said, okay, now let us see how we can solve this problem so that we can protect the forest. And you, Michelin, can get your natural rubber to make your tires. And you, BNP Paribas, can invest the money, taking it from your people that have accounts in your bank and give them back. So everybody wins. So we built a $400 million project, no government money, no subsidies, and all 50,000 people employed in that project. Now it is the world's largest sustainable rubber plantation. The buffer around the forest so that you can't go inside without going through the plantation. That's the first buffer. 38,000 hectares, 38 million standing trees now. And then inside, another buffer of 50,000 hectares run by the Worldwide Fund for Nature as a conservation forest, bringing back the Sumatran tigers, the orangutans. You know, we look at orangutans as some special name, right? Orangutan, it sounds funny. Orangutan actually means man of the forest. Orang means man, utan means forest. So they are basically us in the forest. That's why they call them orangutans in Indonesian language. And so now all these species are protected. The forest, not a single tree is cut anymore. All the people get to feed their children. That's what happens when people come together. And then, you build a compact where those that need to make money, they can make money, but reasonable amounts. Not by stealing, but not by plundering, but by protecting, by conserving. Because then nature wins. When nature wins, we all win. So that's one example I wanted to give you. The other example is from India. I can also talk about China, the story of Inner Mongolia, one man's dream. If you see what was there before and what is now, is a miracle. Literally a miracle. You should Google the conservation and ecosystem restoration in Inner Mongolia. There's nothing like this anywhere in the planet. And one man. So when you think you're too small to make a difference, no. Nobody is too small to make a difference. Everybody can make a difference. You have to have imagination. You need to go to your friends. And there will be somebody will be black and white and brown and short and tall. We are all different. But when we come together, miracle happens. When we think together, miracle happens. And when we protect nature, we're actually protecting ourselves. So in India, we brought the same idea to India and we started working with the government on the eastern coast, Andhra Pradesh state, 60 million people in that state. They have 6 million farmers. And now, in the last 8 years, they have the world's largest sustainable agriculture program. 1.5 million women farmers are growing food without any chemicals or fertilizers or pesticides. And they are winning every award you can imagine. Poor women that have nothing, little impact, but together it is planetary impact. And there the German Development Bank has invested 210 million euros at less than 0.5% interest. Literally nothing, it's free money, And how is the money being paid back? By saving from fertilizer subsidies, because they don't use fertilizer anymore. And every year, they were spending $1.5 billion in subsidies for fertilizer. The same fertilizer that is destroying the planet. So they grow food clean, without any compost, without any fertilizer, through inoculation. They use cow dung and cow urine as a microbial base, and they add different things like buttermilk, like brown sugar, like lentil flour, and they mix it all, and it becomes a very nutritious tonic for the plants, for the seed, for the soil, and costs this little as compared to fertilizers and pesticides. It is 1.5 million women now, not 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 100,000. It's 1,500,000. And they are going to become the first state in India to be completely organic, creating food for 6 million people and more. And it all starts with one man's vision. And that man is a guy called Vijay Kumar, who decided that I need to help these women. They really want clean food for their children, so can I bring everybody together? That's how he reached out to us. And that's why we are helping them. And within 8 years, they're already 25% of the entire farming population is enrolled. Out of 6 million, 1.5 million. And extraordinary, they're growing everything, rice, lentils, mangoes, fruits, vegetables, in hundreds of thousands of tons, not small quantities. And for the first time, the children of poor farmers are actually eating organic food. Because otherwise you can't go to the supermarket and buy organic food, it's very expensive. But here it's free for them because they are growing it themselves. So that's the miracle. So I want to close by saying that we work with everybody and we work for free. And our goal is to empower every champion. So if you think you are a champion, you have an idea, talk to us. Anywhere. There's no country, this country, that country, rich country, poor country. Everybody needs help because people need help. And even in a very rich country, there are a lot of poor people. So everybody needs help and everybody needs to work together so that we can create the kind of impact we desperately need to make the planet whole again. So that it is good not just for us, but the 8 million species that inhabit the planet. Everybody needs help. And God has created us with a conscience, with consciousness, so that we are able to help others. A tiger can't decide, I will go and grow good food. Can't. God has not given him that intelligence. It gave us that intelligence so that we can do something good with that intelligence, not destroy the planet. So thank you for listening. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Thank you so much for giving us such an inspiring speech. We can learn that how international cooperation can slow down the speed of climate change. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
But please wait a minute. Maybe we can see if there is any questions from the audience.
Sure, definitely.
Is there any questions that you want to ask more? No. Okay. So maybe let's just take a photo together. Thank you so much.